I know everyone wants to know all things Pharrell and the hat tweet, but I think the most important question is, do you know what Pharrell's head smells like?
You know, when we
Thanks, Jason Keith.
that's a great question. So, we really, when we got the hat, our president was like, we paid $44,000. We want to see the sweat stains in this hat, right? And make sure it was the real deal. So, I didn't smell it, but I did get to wear it. It's on obviously my Twitter profile picture. But everybody in the office got to wear the hat at least one time. So it was fun to share that with the company, and everybody had a chance to kind of wear the hat.
It's awesome. So I want to get a little deep here and think about, what if that tweet never happened? What if you didn't identify that opportunity? What if Pharrell didn't tweet back? What if it didn't go viral? And what if you didn't get the millions and millions of media impressions that you got? What was life like before the tweet, and what do you think your progression would have been?
Great question. If the tweet didn't happen, I don't think I'd be sitting here, for one.
Yes, you would.
And we've done some good things in social, but I think, I was hoping we would have a moment like that, like we had in the night of the Grammys. If that moment if we didn't have made that tweet, it was a game changer for the brand. I don't think if that tweet happened, I've got a team of 3 now. I don't think if that tweet happened, we've got an increased budget for, doing more things in social. So at the time that happened, you don't think about all those things of what could be, but in knowing what happened after the tweet happened, I'm very thankful that it did, and appreciative of it every day. And sometimes I'm like, is this still happening? type of thing. And, it really elevated Arby's, our social cred. We'd been a brand that's, most people thought about Arby's, it's not a cool brand like Taco Bell and some of these other brands, and really our franchisees embraced it too, so it was good for them. And I don't think it's a coincidence, and we're a private company, but we disclose that we've had 15 consecutive quarters of same-store sales growth, and that actually started as soon as our digital and social department was started back in December of 2010. So I don't attribute all these sales growth to our department, but I'm like, there's no coincidence that our growth for the business started when we started paying attention in social and digital.
And that's exactly why I asked the question, because you guys were already providing value, but it took a monumental event to maybe get you the resources that you needed. Not everyone's going to have that monumental moment. So after this growth happened quickly, was it kind of a race to figure out how you were going to grow to manage it? And do you wish in hindsight you would have heard from someone like you and made that plan for when the time came?
Yeah, after it happened, not knowing what was going to happen next was kind of a little bit difficult, challenging for myself and our group. I call it's in having great success like this. People say sometimes it's a blessing and sometimes it can be a little bit of a curse. I'm not complaining by any means, but now there's so much more eyeballs on what we're doing, so there's a little bit more scrutiny. So I feel like even though they trusted me and our team, there's a little bit more. We've got to continue to back up what we're doing. So we'll get a question from our executive team. Well, why do we post this? And what was the strategy behind this? And here's something we need to jump on. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but everybody's coming to our team of, this happened last night and we should be doing something, we should jump on it. And now I've got the pressure of supposedly I'm supposed to have 4 or 5 of these moments a year. And I'm like, guys, it's not going to happen. It's like, we caught lightning in a bottle. It's like winning the lottery. Don't expect this to happen all the time. We're going to take chances and risk, and sometimes it's going to work, and sometimes it's not going to work. But don't have expectations that we've got to deliver these types of moments 4 or 5 times a year, because then I think that time when we think that way, we can get a little bit sloppy and make some mistakes.
And when you think that way, it likely won't happen.
Yeah.
So how do you truly manage that expectation? So we have this great big win. Are you helping them? Are you helping your executive team or others that you're working with understand that this is just a catalyst for more great things to come? Or what is the communication that goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah, and part of it was, at the time we had a new CMO and president come on board, so they, they had no recollection of what we'd done in the past. So they come in and they see this tweet and they're like, oh, this is how things are going to be at Arby's. So I think it's leveling expectations. And, when we do put out a campaign, I call it post Pharrell.
PP.
Yeah, PP. We have to put it in some context of we can't measure everything we do from now on to that moment. So it's kind of like an outlier. So we have to kind of take it out of context and say, hey, this is something that happened. It was so big and great. But moving forward, the things that we're doing in digital and social, you can't look at a tweet that we put out there that got 500 retweets and call it a failure. So that's the type of things that our team's having to do now, which we hadn't had to do before because we never had a big event like that, was put things in context of what we're doing and explain to them the success measures and really kind of moving that for a moment out of the benchmark of measurement.
So I would love to hear about your earlier career. Tell us about some of the life lessons that you've learned that have helped you in your role at Arby's and maybe will help you in whatever your next career step is.
Yeah, I kind of fell into the social media space. Actually, have a master's degree in industrial psychology, so I thought I was going to be in kind of an applied psychology setting in HR, and coming out of grad school, it just, the job market wasn't that great, but I had skills in data and market research, so I kind of landed at an agency, so I didn't really have a marketing background, which I think has really helped in the space too, because really, I feel social media, it's all about people, right? It's all about psychology and how you interact with people and how people respond to your messaging. So kind of fell into it at an agency and was doing a lot of user experience testing and focus group research, and really kind of at the time we had some clients that were really interested in social media, and actually the first brand I tweeted for was Snickers ice cream, which is, for whatever reason, I'm always doing food. I don't know, it's a niche, but that was a fun brand to kind of test the waters a little bit, and really just kind of got immersed in it. I created a blog, I created a Twitter account, and just really lived and breathed it. And I think, in my roles moving forward, I really stressed not moving away from living and breathing it on a daily basis. And that's tough because, now I got promoted after the Pharrell moment happened, which was great, and got team members under me, but I still feel like I need to be close to what people are saying in social and what people are talking about. So even though I'm in more meetings and more strategy sessions, I'm still on my phone, interacting with people and looking what people are saying, because I feel like you always need to be plugged in to the social space, and especially if you work in the field and if you get elevated, still being plugged into and knowing what's happening.
I'd love to talk about the team members that you've added onto your team, because, as you said, people who literally eat, breathe, sleep the brand. How did you decide which 3 functions you needed, and how are those people growing into those roles?
Certainly. So back in 2010, when the team was created, and they hired me as a manager of social, and they hired another person to do the digital side. That person left at the end of last year. About June last year, so I had to actually take on all the digital stuff as well as doing all the social. So just continuing to try to build the case that we needed more overhead and support on our team. So now we've got a person that's helping out with our digital efforts, focusing on our website, our email, and then we've got basically a full-time community manager. And if you've tweeted Arby's, hopefully he's back at home or back in Atlanta favoriting.
Let's test him.
Yeah,
Everybody tweet him right now.
Hopefully he's there responding and not freaking out on me. But yeah, a full-time community manager, and said, really stripped him of all the other responsibility, and said, your job is to, be the eyes and ears for Arby's and interact while you're here. So he's in that room, and that room's always fully staffed when we're there Monday through Friday. And, we're looking to hire a little bit more analysts as we're doing a lot more in the social data. I think we're finding value in that. And we have a research group that obviously surveys our customers on our sandwiches. So they'll bring them in, and we'll set them in front of a table like this and let them eat the sandwich and ask them questions. But again, a lot of times people give you what they think about the sandwiches, but we feel like they're going to be a little bit nice to you. What's so great about social? It's unsolicited information. Like people are just going to tweet unsolicited what they think about the sandwich and what they think about these products. So he's there day to day looking at that stuff. And we're also plugging in other areas of the business. So we've got a marketing analytics team that primarily focuses on our sales mix. So they're looking at numbers across different markets of how our sandwiches are performing and all these data tables, and they're doing some crazy stuff. So we've actually brought those guys in and showed them what we're doing with social data. So the next evolution for us, I think, is continuing to evolve that social data. So can we overlay all our social data with our sales data? And so if we see a spike in conversation, does that also mean we see a spike in sales? So those are the types of questions that we're bringing other people to the business to think about social with us.
If someone wanted to, let's say you have a job opening, this analytics one, for example, how would someone get your attention in a positive way to say that, yeah, this person looks like it's someone I want to bring in an interview? What are you looking for in team members?
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody that's lived and breathed the space, obviously. It's one thing to have a Twitter account and a blog, but being able to, that applied experience is what I'm really looking for. And have a point of view, really. Social, I feel like there's no blueprint for how you should go about doing social media marketing. There's best practices, but it's everybody, it's very subjective. So, I look for people that have an opinion and, look at our social media stuff and, tell us what you like and what you don't like about it and how you change it. So I think, people coming into roles that I've hired for on our team, I'm looking for them to, have some applied experience in a business setting, whether that be at another company or just helping a small business, freelancing. But coming in and having a point of view and having a passion and being able to speak to, what they think about social and where it's going, and really being passionate about the space.
My last question: what is the one thing you're most proud of? Actually, let's reverse this. What's the one thing, if you could wave a magic wand, that you'd like to improve about RB social presence, and what's the one thing you're most proud of about that same social presence?
Oh, wow. The thing I'm most proud of is how we address customer service. Mm-hmm. I feel like social media is very much, first and foremost, customer service 101. I take a lot of pride, and I try to have our team take a lot of pride in delivering great customer service as we do in the restaurants to online. So if it's, and we created a at Arby's Cares account that's strictly devoted to reaching out to people who may have had a bad experience. I kept seeing a lot of other brands in our space, people were posting on their Facebook page or tweet at them that they, had a bad experience, they forgot my fries or something, and nobody ever responds to it. And I think that's just an untapped opportunity. And we call our space, we're an experiences space, even though we're in food, it's all about the experience. So, us reaching out to somebody who didn't tweet at us, but just posted, went through Arby's, they screwed up my sandwich, and I'm really upset. We're mining that data, and we're reaching out to them and saying, hey, our bad, we screwed up, from our at Arby's Cares account, and, getting them into our guest support team. So we're plugging in a full-time person on our guest support team that's addressing our social media concerns day of. So if we see somebody tweeting had a bad experience, we're tweeting out back to them, and we're getting them resolved very quickly. So that's probably what I'm most proud of. In terms of Magic Wand, in terms of what I would add more, I think obviously more assistance and help. I feel like, we've got a great team of 3 now. I just feel like there's always so much more we could be doing. I mean, really from the data perspective, and there's so much data that we have access to in social that we can dig into and provide value for the company. So if I had more time and more resources just to dig in more to the data and we can build out programs and share it with the company. That's what I would say I would do.
Well, Josh, it's been a pleasure hearing your story and watching what's happened with you thus far. I can't wait to see what's next for you. Thank you for sharing your time with us here today.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.